Let's talk about sex. It's time we slice through the smoke and mirrors, bang down the hidden depths of love and relationships. Because we've got new.
So your internal clock is ticking. Actually, no, it's not ticking so much as it's screaming at you, give us kids, and you want to. You might be in a committed relationship, or you're looking for somebody to settle down with and have children with. Or perhaps you're somebody who's already with kids, you're in a committed relationship, but you're with somebody that you absolutely need to leave. But the only reason you're still there is you're afraid of being a single parent. Well, I have two lawyers in with me today on Love Lounge, and we're going to be talking about the realities of single parenthood. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to Love Lounge. Now, I'm going to introduce you to two lawyers. One of them, I think you might not even know is a lawyer, but you should know. Her name is Omotunde Adebowale David, but we all know and love her as Lolo One. She's a lawyer, actor, OAP, musician, philanthropist as well. Am I right?
Yes. I seem to have a long list now.
Yes, welcome. We also have Deola Olulana, who's a lawyer, single mom advocate, and founder of Precious and Pretty Mom, which is a hub for single moms. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Love Lounge. We're talking about single parenthood today. Now, it seems if you're looking at the musicians that we have in Nigeria, more of them are willing to be daddies. And there's some girls who have, groupies and following them around, and they're also happy to be single parents. Now, is this something that's a new fad? Is this something that we should be encouraging in Nigeria, or does it not even matter? Has it always existed, do you think?
Okay, maybe because my own industry is entertainment, I don't think you would call them single moms. Maybe I'll just call them baby mamas, because the realities are a bit different. If you're a groupie and you just want a baby by some popular artist, you wouldn't really say that they understand the realities of being single moms. It's just like some of them, it starts out like a plaything, then the reality of having to nurture their children on their own sets in. Maybe that's when the phenomenon might change in their minds, and then they graduate from being baby mamas to being single mom, because being a baby mama is just popping out a baby.
And then leaving the responsibility
to somebody else to do it. Any
Mm-hmm.
woman can have a baby, but not everybody can parent a child. So that's two different things that, to me, basically, that's how I see it. And I don't think it's anything we should encourage. It's just that we're in the times that a lot of laxity is in our youths, a lot of, everybody just throws caution to the wind. We don't really understand the value of commitment. We don't understand integrity or virtue. Those were the things that maybe there used to be. But now those kinds of words are even going extinct. If you want to talk about virginity now, it's like, really? Do people still roll like that? And I think it's just a reality of our times. It's sad though, but it's something that we're grappling with, and we shouldn't just let it be that way.
Now, there are some people who, for them, they planned to have, start a family with a partner. And at some point in time, they realize that me and this guy or me and this woman is just not going to work. If we stay in this house, somebody will die, and they've chosen to stay together still despite the risk, because they're afraid of being a single dad or a single mom. In that situation, is it a good idea to stay there just for the sake of the kids? Or is single parenthood something that we really should be that terrified of?
No, you shouldn't be terrified of single parenthood. I'm a single mom, and I'm glad to be a single mom and parent my children by myself, because I am sure of the kind of values that I have, and so I'm sure the values I'm instilling in the boys I am fortunate to raise by myself now. But if you're in a loveless relationship, I don't see a reason why you're there because of the kids, because eventually the kids will leave, and sometimes you get bored. You don't only get bored, sometimes you become suicidal, sometimes you want to just kill this person and just get your life started with it. So it's first about you. If you can't love yourself, you can't truly love your spouse or love your children. So you must first love yourself to be able to love them.
You're watching Love Lounge, and we're going to be talking about how to date somebody who's a single parent. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Love Lounge. So my uncle passed away some years ago, and my aunt, apparently she just told me like a few months ago that apparently the reason she never remarried, my uncle passed away, actually it wasn't a few years ago, he passed away about 5 years ago, and I have another uncle as well who passed away about 10 years ago. And so both of my aunts, I was hanging with them a few weeks ago, and they said that they never remarried because their children actually warned them that if you bring another man to this house, I will kill him. And so one of them has 3 boys and 1 girl. And so the oldest of the 2 boys had basically said, don't even try it. And I thought it's a bit selfish because your mother, she has needs. And it's not just about maybe the sex or the money, but also having a companion. At the end of the day, when the children grow older, they'll leave the house and the mother is just there by herself. So what are the rules as a parent, a single parent, when it comes to engaging your children to let them know, you know what, mommy is ready to start dating? And also for the new person who wants to come and date this mother, what are the rules of engaging not just the mother, how to respect her and treat her like a lady, but also her kids?
All right. For me, I'm a single mom and I have 4 whooping kids and I love them to bits, 3 boys and a beautiful girl. My children are still relatively young. My eldest is 12. I have 12, 10, 8, and 4. And dating for me, let's just say, it's more about our society and culture that worries me, not really about the rules of dating. Because here, if you're a single parent, it's like they demonize you. I don't think the issue really is for African children. Maybe children that have foreign orientation can tell their parents and say, "Mommy, you can't date" or anything.
No, these are like we live on your state.
Well, maybe the age that they're at, they can impress upon their parents. Like my children.
The eldest is now in his 20s.
Yes, like my own children, they're still relatively young. The only thing my daughter will look at is, for me, everybody's an uncle. Everybody's just a male. I choose people that I put around my children very carefully. And I don't name anybody. Because it's not like it has come to a marriage situation or a situation where we're going to be together. Then we define the relationship. But while I'm dating, he that is dating their mom is just an uncle. It's just someone they see around. And just like they would see their biological uncle or they would see people. That's how I would introduce anybody to.
And you don't worry if, for example, this uncle you've introduced to your children, you start dating and it doesn't work out maybe 6 months, 7 months down the line. You don't worry that at some point they'll ask out, what about Uncle so and so? We haven't seen in ages.
Life is transient. I've treated my children, they're young, so they're impressionable. They've come to understand that people come, people go. Sometimes Uncle is working. He moved out of Lagos and he can't see us as often as he used to.
Okay.
I have friends like that are not even a love relationship because I try to surround my children with people that can mentor them. So I have people in business, I have doctor friends, I have different kinds of people that interact with them. So I tell them, oh, he's gotten more busy. That's why uncle can come and see us as often. But maybe when he's on leave or when he can come, or maybe I'll get him to talk to you on phone. Okay. I'm like, okay. And the children just move on. Except maybe your kids are at a very impressionable age. Maybe when my daughter turns 18, then she begins to see and say, okay, Mom, this person is a little beyond a friend. But at the age they're at now, I don't think it's really difficult for me to date, really.
What do you think about that, Tinapa?
Children react differently to the issue of single parenting. Now, between the ages of 2 to 6, you find out that children react very badly, but they snap out of it because they vividly can't remember after a while.
When you say badly, is it an awareness that this is not my mom or this is not my father who's around?
No, they just miss their dad.
Okay.
They just miss it.
So they react, they throw tantrums at home and all of that, but it wears out. Now, between the ages of 7 to 12, they don't, but they don't trust anybody around them.
Okay.
Now, between the ages of 12 to 18, they withdraw to themselves, right? And they are really upset with you. But
as
daddy
the
and
new
mommy,
person introduced you.
no, but daddy and mommy, and so they want to protect their dad's territory.
Yes.
So they look at you and like, so okay, let me give you an example. If I recently became a single mom 4 years ago, and I have a few male friends, not a love relationship, and they come around. Now, my older son just sits down and begins to look at them, when they're walking, he's just checking the space and then wondering, what are you on and on about?
Right.
And so I realized it was affecting him, and I said to myself, see, there's no love lost between the two of us, and this child is more important to me than anyone else, because the truth is that you must also look at the best interest of the child. especially in these times where we're in, Art, where you have a daughter, you must be careful because you don't want anyone taking advantage of that person.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to introduce men in and out of their lives because you see, they've seen daddy walk out. You can't keep seeing people walk out because that's the mentality that they have. You know, I was reading a book sometime that says that says that the daughter just believes, okay, male friends can keep coming in. Now the son will believe that, oh, that was how mommy used to do it. So when he sees his own wife doing it, he gets affected and says, oh, that's what my mom used to do. And so he's not able to trust that relationship.
Yes.
So you must be careful around how you relate. Because abroad, you find out that men and women that are single parents date, but they keep it away from home.
From home sometimes.
Sometimes. Except, like she said,
It's
they're pretty
serious.
sure.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's
So
serious.
and then you find out that such men are even committed when they're serious. They're committed to not just the mom, they're also committed to the children.
Okay, I'd like to talk some more now, more on the guy who's now trying to date a single parent, a single mom, or a woman who's dating a single guy. And we'll talk about that after this. Don't go anywhere. This is Love Lounge. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Love Lounge. I have a Facebook message that I'd like to share with you. It's from Toluchi and it reads as follows. I would like to believe that I'm doing a great job at raising up my son as a single parent. As I continue to keep him as far away as possible from his father, this is because I do not want to make another copy of the irresponsible man I met 6 years ago. Is there anything wrong with that?
Wow. Honestly, I don't think she's she's wrong, but we can't be completely right all the time. You can't I don't advocate alienating your children from their father, because no matter the kind of man that he is, he's still their father. The only thing is that you can make it controlled, the kind of interaction that they have with him, if you think is a bad influence. Because I don't think anybody originally would just hate his own children. Maybe there were just some other issues. So it's not a bad thing that she's raising her son and she's doing a good job. The only thing I would not say completely okay is keeping the child away, except maybe he's a violent man or he does something really, really fundamental, or maybe he's a pedophile, or he, something really strange like that. Maybe just because you guys fall apart on some other grounds, maybe. But just to completely keep them away, I don't think it's right, because in the later end, a woman suffers because children will seek out their fathers, especially girls. I've seen it happen to a friend of mine. She nurtured her child till she was about university age, and she wanted to go to school in England. She sought her father out because her mom couldn't afford her tuition fees. This thing broke my friend to a point that she almost had a stroke, because she could not believe that her daughter that she has raised for 16, no, she was about 21, like maybe 18 years of her lives outside her father, would seek her father out and do that.
And rather be a dependent on this man that you didn't have a relationship
so
with.
it was really tough. But it was tough because she kept her away from her father. So that girl found a back end way to have a relationship with her dad.
Okay, so how do you nurture a relationship with your now ex-spouse, as it were, when you're raising the child by yourself, you have full custody of the child, but you want to make sure that something like this doesn't happen? What are the parameters of engaging with that kind of relationship?
Now, bringing a bit of law into this to buttress what she said, because even if you go into a custody battle, you would actually get joint custody. You would have visiting rights. And so I agree with her to say, do not deny the father of your child access to that child, except on grounds of violence, on grounds of jazz, introduction of some pornography or things that you're sure that you can evidently show that it's impacting negatively on that child's life.
What about in instances where the parents, could be the guy, sometimes it's even the mother themselves, who will tell you that I want nothing to do with this child, where they've chosen to not be a part of that child's life, and then in future they then suddenly show up.
Oh no, that happens.
Yeah,
that happens a lot, especially in Nigeria. It happens a lot. And then, like she said, it's no matter how much you hide your children, they always seek their father out. They always seek their mother out. If a man was so bad he threw his wife away, one day his children will go look for that woman. If a woman hides her son or her daughter away from the father, one day they're going to see. So it's better for you to have parallel parenting. Parenting in the sense that, okay, both of you can independently parent your children, or go a step further. You can still maintain friendship, but you know, the side of the world, what we do is we fight to finish when the love music stops.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that, because the best interests of the child must be taken into consideration, because I mean, that child didn't ask to come. Both of you came together and brought that child. And so you must have, you know, cooperative parenting where, and then when you have cooperative parenting, you find out that the children don't take advantage of any of you.
I tell you, like my ex is so easy. We don't, our separation was very mutual. It wasn't violent. My children never saw us beating each other. The only thing we know that daddy and mom, they'll live together. And what he does is that he's in their day-to-day life. He comes to see them most of the time during the week. He does assignments with them when he can, and he visits as often as he can. So they're not missing. So even when he didn't see him, like, daddy, mommy, daddy said he's busy and that he will come and see us next week, or he will take us out. So it's okay.
So what's dating like in that situation then, where, because now it sounds like, I mean, obviously if you're a single parent and one of the other half of the parenthood, as it were, aren't involved in the child's life, I guess it's easier to bring other people around and date. But if, let's say, the mom or the father is still very much involved in the children's life, then how are you, as the external party that's now joining this clique, how do you date the mother or date the father and be respectful of the children and the ex?
And the ex, exactly. Now it says the onus lies on the person, on the single parent, or the single parent, whether mom or dad. You must realize that if for nothing, respect must just be mutual. If for nothing, dignity must be respected. You must make sure you don't demean your partner in front of the children or your new date. The truth is, the onus lies on you to balance how that relationship can actually flow connectively. But remember, your ex cannot be jealous of your new date.
But it happens.
You
can't control people's emotions.
It does. I just think that.
And there'll be some days when you're like, oh, school fees are due, and your ex is doing shakara. You'll be like, well, the new guy I'm seeing, he's taking me to Dubai, you know, and sometimes you don't want to, but
Africans,
I
don't really
we don't flaunt
we don't really
that.
do that.
Yes,
Even for us, I think it's harder for single moms to date than single dads. You know, single moms will come with our children. A guy can walk into a room and nobody knows he has kids. I have 4 kids. So anytime I want to date, is the first, once I see you show interest, I tell you that day, I have 4 children. And I see people run for their lives.
Shouldn't you wait? Like maybe wait a week,
a
month?
Because once you get into that, it becomes a problem. I just think, one, aside the onus being on you to make the relationship the way it should be, it lies on who you're dating too. Because he must know what the existing circumstances are. I wouldn't put 2 men in the same box. Of course, if my ex is coming, I won't bring my date at that time. Why? I don't want to confuse my children or put them, especially when your children love your date. I don't want to put him in a situation where their dad feels as if, oh, mom is dating, so my kids don't have time for me.
All right, so we're going to be reading your messages. Keep them coming in. Love Lounge will be right back after this. You're watching Love Lounge and we're talking about single parenthood. So far we've covered people who have been together and then because of divorce or whatever have separated. But what about people who've chosen off the bat, I'm going to a sperm bank? You know, I've been with some of my friends who actually will call or they'll text somebody we're close to and say, by the way, on my 27th birthday, on my 35th birthday, if I'm not with anybody, I'm going to want you to donate your sperm because it's cheaper for me. And I want to know the DNA that's going into, you know, my body and creating. So as a friend, will you do that for me? So for parents who have chosen to be single, you know, then how should they relate with people after the baby comes?
Do you know that the easiest kind of single parenting, especially single motherhood, is a single mother by choice? Because you've counted the cost. You already know what the building is going to cost, and so you're ready to go for it. You have savings sometimes, you're happy. You don't care what the society is saying because you had made up your mind.
But it's not easy to not care about what society is saying. No. I think society forgives a divorced mom.
No.
They
Society
Easier
forgives
than-
widows.
Oh,
they
so
forgive widows.
So where's your husband?
No,
Oh,
they
there's no
forgive
husband.
widows.
How did you have this? Was this accident? No, I
No,
chose to go to
naturally
sperm bank.
in
I find them
Nigeria,
very
if you're
judgmental.
divorced, it's your fault.
It's your fault
If you're a woman.
as a woman.
What?
It's the premise, it's the beginning.
It's
You didn't try hard enough.
No, you
No,
didn't
you
try
didn't
hard
try hard
enough.
enough.
You
You
were
must
not
have done
submissive.
something. You're
you were-
prostitute.
You're prostitute, exactly.
Especially us that are in the media, they just demonize
Oh,
you. They
it's
just
not
make you
just-
feel as if, media people, they are never settled in their homes. They
Yeah.
are very rude women.
It's not just media, even lawyers.
Lawyers, yes, they're sharp
Oh,
mouth.
they're sharp mouth and they
Too
argue
argumentative.
everything. Yes, and
Yeah.
all of that. So you don't have anywhere to hide.
Right.
Really. So the only kind of single motherhood that is permitted, that is tolerated, accepted,
If your
is
partner
widowhood.
passed away.
It is still a taboo in some places to even hear that you left a man. Or a man left you. Your parents won't even take you in. I know a friend of mine, in fact, we traveled out together. I just don't want to talk about her name. Her elder sister died last year. She got married just because, she just wanted to get married and bear misses. And she stayed in an abusive relationship. She had like a month old, and the man threw her down the stairs.
Oh, wow.
And she hit her head. She just started to have health complications from that time. And she had a stroke. Eventually, she died. If that woman had told her parents that she wanted to leave, they are highly placed in the society. They can't hear of it. She's dead now. And you're wondering, is the sacrifice of death
And how is the child? Who's
ultimate?
looking after the child?
The man, as we're presently talking, is run away, he has eloped. They don't know where he is. She has 2 children. So the family is trying to trace where he is. He probably
He
has
took the
taken...
children?
Yes, the children. They're probably taking them out of the country. And what would you say that woman gained by staying? But people that will be quick to judge her are the same ones that would have judged her if she left.
I said something a moment. I said to the audience that a society that can help you does not have a right to judge you. So don't give that society that right.
Yes.
Because you know what? A woman who stays in an abusive marriage and does not get killed is just lucky.
Yes.
She's just mere lucky.
And when we say abusive,
truth.
people think it's only physical
It's not just
violence.
physical, it's emotional, it's financial.
Do you know emotional abuse is worse than physical because you implode? As doctors, I know women who gave up on their marriages and she literally vegetated because when your heart is depressed, your body starts to die.
Yes, yes.
And she just imploded. All manner of sickness, she would never recover. She would never be happy. No matter what you use, she just stopped living. And those are the things that the women in our times are battling with.
I mean, I think my heart is heavy from the things you've said. I hope we've helped you, at least help you clarify, or at least given you ideas of questions you should be asking if you're wondering if you should stay in a relationship that you think you're staying just because of your kids, or if you're somebody who's thinking you want to start a family just by yourself. If you have more questions, please reach out to us, EbonyLife TV, find us online, and we'll try and connect you to people who can help you. And if you know anybody who's struggling in a relationship, whether abusive physically or emotionally or otherwise, again, get in touch with us on Love Lounge, and we'll try and connect you with a counselor who can assist you. We'll be back next week on Love Lounge.
I was very naive in every way. I was a virgin. I did everything by the book. But I still didn't choose right. So when I see younger women, and we are the ones they would demonize, even church, I didn't get help from church. I got criticism, judgment, ostracization. My friends, their husbands will not let them, they won't want them to interact with you.
Well, I got
because
help
they
from
feel that they would,
You got help, you said?
yeah.
I got help from
They would say, they would feel like, maybe you teach their wives.
EbonyLife.